explaining the rest of the Civitas program. And what I think Civitas really gave me, I think it brought three things to me, and that was knowledge, opportunity, and experience. I think those are the three main things that Civitas has afforded me, and as I'm sure many of my peers that are in Civitas. So I'd like to first talk about the knowledge aspect of it. Obviously, this is going to come from the classroom environment with all of the classes we take in Civitas, but also I think just as much, if not more, the knowledge we gain from the Civitas program comes from outside of the classroom and our experiences outside of putting into effect in a real life situation what we did learn in the class. As far as the classes go, my favorite was philosophy of political thought. Even before Civitas, I was really interested in politics, and I'd say very informed for my age, being an 8th grader. And so Intro to Poli-Sci I really enjoyed because that was the first time I learned about politics in a classroom setting, and many people in high school are not afforded that opportunity to take a political science class. So that was a great, unique opportunity. What I liked the most about philosophy of political thought, however, was that it gave a wider range of different philosophies in terms of not only politics and government, but also we studied religions, cultures, we even studied metaphysics. And we learned about, not just like about Marxism versus capitalism, but also about how culture impacts a government and how everything in a civilization really meshes to form politics, which I think, it really interested me just to see politics studied in a new light like that in that class. And then as far as community service goes, that's the other component of the knowledge that we gained, among others. That's the other main component. Most of my community service was done, well, in various things, but a lot of it was done in political campaigns. And what I really liked about political campaigns, I already said, I'm very interested in politics. It was cool to go work on political campaigns and see the effects of what we were learning in the classroom at the time. I remember instances during my community service when I was like, I did something and I was like, oh, I can think of a direct connection to what we're learning in the classroom right now. And I thought that was really neat about Civitas, that it's this multi-dimensional knowledge that you're gaining from the program. In addition to the political campaigning, I did community service at the public library. That was really neat to see. That really helped me appreciate what we have here in the United States and just the resources that we have at our disposal, that you can walk into a library and you have all of these books, all of this source of information, knowledge, of enrichment. And that really made me appreciate at a whole new level what we have here in this country. I also volunteered at the Sacramento Food Bank. I helped out a fellow student, Noah Lightman, who runs the Sacramento wing of the Turkeys for America organization. I helped him at the Thanksgiving time pass out turkeys at the Sacramento Food Bank. I also volunteered at Run to Feed the Hungry. And I remember when I volunteered for Run to Feed the Hungry, I did not go with a classmate or someone else who's in Civitas like I usually would for community service. But I met 3 people who were part of the Key Club at McClatchy, and they're really good friends of mine now. So that just is to show how Civitas can lead to making friends not only within Civitas, but also in branching out at other schools even, and just in your community. So the next part was opportunity. The opportunities afforded me by Civitas are just, I cannot express how grateful I am for the opportunity to not only take part in Civitas as a whole, but to go on the field trips. And as far as the field trip, the federal courthouse, that was really cool because I remember that week we had lawyers coming to our class as part of a program called Protect and Defend and talk to us about the government and about laws and politics. And then just that week we went on a field trip to the federal courthouse where not only did we get a tour of the inside of the courthouse, we got to do a mock trial in which some of the students were defendants. One of them was the plaintiff and whatnot, but also a lot of the students, including myself, served on the jury. And so we got to go into the jury room after the trial and make a decision, and just to see the jury process. That was really neat, because I think that's one of the things that you can't really teach from a book. And so I think that field trip is just a prime example of how Civitas gives you this multidimensional knowledge through these opportunities of field trips. But no matter how great the federal courthouse field trip was, hands down, my favorite field trip throughout all of Civitas was Perspectives. I went 3 out of 4 years to Perspectives, and I saw speakers like Dick Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, Guy Kawasaki, Howie Long, just amazing, amazing speakers. And most people my age don't get the opportunity to just be like, oh, I'm going to go to Perspectives 3 out of my 4 years in high school. But Civitas students do get that opportunity. And I know the tickets for Perspectives are they're first come, first serve, and everyone wants to go, because it's just such a great opportunity. Last time I went to Perspectives, I sat at a table in the front, and sitting next to me was a Georgetown alum. And when I found that out, that was really neat, because at the time, I was in the process of my application to Georgetown University. So he helped me out with the application, talked to me about the school itself, and that was a great opportunity not only to see speakers, but just to network and to meet people in the community who went to Georgetown while I'm applying to Georgetown. So that was very cool. And then the best opportunity out of Civitas, in my opinion, was the internship. I interned in the office of Congressman Dan Lundgren, and when Ms. Reed asked me what I wanted to do for my internship, I said that because I live in his district. I'm a huge fan of politics, and I'm conservative. I'm actually the president of the Young Republicans Club here at Rio Americano. And so I was a big supporter of Congressman Lundgren. So that seemed like an internship that I think I thought I would really love. And after I went through the application process, I really did love that. I interned after school last year, starting in the spring. And then this year, up until recently, I was interning after school. And then during summer, 3 days a week for 8 hours a day, I was interning in that office. And it was really, it was just the best experience that I think I've had in my 4 years in high school, because just to see the work environment, and then on top of that, the politics, on top of that, I got new communication skills, because I answered phone calls, I talked to constituents who walked in, we had a couple of protesters a few times, and I just really got a really broad experience there in terms of, I got kind of a taste of everything in like the workforce and politics and stuff like that, and to see the daily operations of our government at that level was really, really unique. And then also my mentor, Oliver Chu, who's right there, I would like to thank you very much, because he made my internship great, and I just can't say thank you enough. I know that was a really, really great internship, and he was a great mentor. And so the next thing that I gained from Civitas was experience. The experience of the internship, the experience of the program as a whole, and then obviously I think the biggest experience that we're going to have in Civitas is the senior project. And so now that's what I would like to talk about. My senior project, I said it was called Suits for Service, and it was a collection of business attire for veterans who were homeless or could not afford clothing and needed to wear business clothing to job interviews so that they could get back on their feet. And the reason I did this was because I have always really respected our veterans. My parents raised me to respect the military immensely. And before this, I decided on this project I knew I wanted to do some sort of a clothing collection, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do it for. And I remember I saw a commercial for the Wounded Warrior Project, and that just hit me. That's what I wanted to do, because it really meshed with me and what I love, and just the respect I have for veterans. And then I came across this alarming statistic that about 200,000 of our homeless are veterans, which is approximately 1/5 of the homeless population, have served this country to protect our civil liberties, to protect our democracy. So I just wanted to give back to that community and hopefully make a difference and help out. Another reason why I chose it was because a lot of my family has served in the military. I have 2 grandfathers who have served, several uncles, and then I have a few cousins that are currently in the Navy and the Army. And so that really also kind of helped with what I wanted to do, really helped me realize that this was a project that I think I could be successful at and I think I would really love. On top of that, I myself am planning on going into the Navy. I'm going to the Naval Academy next year, and so after that I'll obviously come out and be in the Navy. And I've always thought that I wanted to do military service, and I'm very grateful that I have been accepted to the Naval Academy. But I'm even more so, I'm very grateful for our past servicemen and women and what they have done for our country. So that's really why I chose this project. After I collected all of the business attire, I went over just earlier this week to the Sacramento Veterans Resource Center, and I donated all of the clothing to them. They have a wing that is called the Veterans Business Outreach Center, and they help with the same thing that I was helping, that my project was the goal of my project, but they do it on a much larger scale. And so donating all of the clothing to them, I know will have a large impact on veterans' lives, and I hope that it will help veterans get a job and then hopefully get a home and get back on their feet. I did the collection for 4 weeks. I started in the end of October, and I did it every Wednesday after school, outside of the school. People dropped off their clothing to me, and then I brought it. I went all the way through the end of November. I did not do it Thanksgiving week because obviously it's Thanksgiving. So I did it for 4 weeks, and Ms. Reed let me store the clothing in the Civitas office. And then after that, like I said, I brought it over to the Veterans Resource Center. And now here is just a chart of the clothing that I collected. 10 suits for men, 1 for women. We have 48 men's shirts, 8 women's shirts. We had women's dresses, shoes, men's ties, pants, shirts, everything. And then a lot of these clothing came from all sorts of various people. And then, like, most of the shirts came from one person, and that was Miss Shannon McLaughlin. So I would like to give out a thanks to her, because she really helped make my project a success, as did a lot of people. And so I'm very thankful for their generosity in donating their clothing to veterans. And so that's what my total came out to. And by the way, I had pretty high goals for my project, but this more than exceeded what I thought that I was going to get. So I was very, very grateful for that. It was, to see all of the clothing at the end of the project was just all worth it to see that it was going to the Veterans Business Resource Center, or the Veterans Resource Center. And so finally, I would like to conclude with just what Civitas has done for me. Obviously, aside from the 3 things I already mentioned, knowledge, opportunity, experience, it's made me more confident. An example in the classroom I can think of is speech. I, right now, am a co-captain on the speech and debate team, and I started speech and debate my sophomore year when I was taking that speech class, when the then captain of the team came and gave a little presentation on why we should join speech and debate. And I didn't really think that this was something I would do throughout the rest of high school. I thought maybe it's a cool thing that I would like to go try. So I went to one meeting, and here I am now, co-captain of the team. So aside from that speech and all of the presentations we've done in Civitas, because most of our finals have been presentations like this in the classes, have helped me with my confidence and have helped me with my recreational speech and debate in competitions. I've noticed a change throughout Civitas, that I've gotten a lot better. And that's not just because of speech and debate practice, that's because of the experience we're getting from Civitas. Like I said, the finals, that was a lot of presentations and speaking. And so I know that when I was a freshman, I can remember whenever we had to do it, like a 2-minute, 3-minute speech, we were all freaked out about that. And then I personally would have to write out my whole speech word for word and memorize it, and then just stand up there and give it. But now I'm confident enough just to speak from the heart. And even in speech and debate, I do impromptu, where you get the topic 2 minutes in advance, and I'm confident enough to go forth and give a speech like that. And I don't think I would be if it weren't for Civitas. So that's definitely one of the best things it's done for me. Friends, I remember the first day of Civitas, we were all new. I knew 2 or 3 people in the program because I went to a Catholic school. I didn't go to a public school, so not many people came to Rio. So I knew a couple of people in the program, but most of them I had no clue, and I was very nervous, but I made friends instantly that day, and they were friends at the time, but now we've really grown as a family, and I know that my fellow classmates are my family, and I'm just very grateful for everything that Civitas has done for me in terms of that. I talked about how it gave me the opportunity to go meet McClatchy people who are really good friends of mine now. It's helped me stand out not only on applications and interviews, but I remember when I was at a West Point admissions briefing, the person who's in charge of the western part of the United States, all of the candidates in that area, and by the way, he's over in New York, that's where he lives, he's not from here. I went up and I talked to him about, I was going to talk to him about Civitas and what it was, and then before I could start explaining it, he said, "Oh, you're in Civitas, that's a great program, I know what that is." And just to see that West Point knows what Civitas is just a really cool thing. That just attests to the fact that it really does help you stand out. And I think one of the reasons was last year, Orr Taylor, who's a good friend of mine, who is now attending West Point, he graduated from the Civitas Academy. And he's really helped me, with my application process to West Point and to the Naval Academy. And I'm very grateful for that. I actually met him in a combination of Civitas, and I also played rugby with him on the same rugby team. So that's how we got to know each other. And then I put overall great experience here. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I really can't sum it up any more than that, other than Civitas is definitely an overall really great experience. I know that if any 8th grader or even below that, a 7th grader, 6th grader was thinking about applying to the Civitas Academy, I would definitely say don't hesitate. It's the best thing that I think has happened to me in high school is the Civitas program as a whole. And as far as my plans for the future, like I said, I will be attending the Naval Academy. I just actually received my nomination last week, and I had a conditional offer of appointment before that, so I'm now just waiting for the actual appointment certificate. And after that, I'm planning on being a naval officer. I want to go into aviation and be a pilot, or go into explosive ordnance disposal. But I mean, that's so far away, I'll see what happens. After the Navy, after I retired from the military, I still do, like I said, really love politics. I have a passion for it, so I would like to run for some sort of public office. I don't know what that would entail, maybe local government or a congressman. I might run for a congressman's position, and so I do plan on that because politics is really my passion, and I know that Civitas has really given me the foundation to go forth in the future and to help me with my future endeavors. I would like to just give a shout out to Mrs. Reed. Thank you very much for everything you've done for the Civitas program, and for everything you've done for me, and I know my fellow classmates in Civitas as a whole. So thank you everyone for being here.
Anybody have a couple of questions for James?
Did you come to Rio Americana because of the Civitas program?
I did. I actually live in Citrus Heights, so this is not by any means my home school. I had to apply to Civitas and then do a district transfer to come here, and Civitas is what led me to come to Rio Americana.
How did you advertise the project, and how did I miss it?
Yeah, really, right.
I put information in the news flash for Rio Americana. I made a couple of flyers, and then I also went and talked to the classes that I'm in, a couple of those. And I did also have like a couple of announcements at Rio Americana, made some posters. It was mainly localized to the school.
If you still have suits, he'll be glad to take them.
I
graduate of the program, what would you tell somebody in 8th grade thinking about maybe joining the Civitas program about why they should get involved?
Well, like I said, I would definitely say to get involved, and why, as far as why they should get involved, I think just because even if you don't like politics, Civitas isn't just about that. I know primarily it's about that, but it's also about community service. It's also about just the experiences of being in professional situations and the internship, the community service, things like that really help with an overall application to what they want to do after high school, whether it be college or something else. I think Civitas really gives you a foundation for going forth after graduation.
What sort of guidance would you give a student who wants to be involved in their community but doesn't have the opportunity to participate in a program like Civitas?
I would say that there are, one of the major things I learned in Civitas, there are so many projects that you can be a part of in the community, and just go out to maybe his local library, and I know they have a bulletin board of community service projects that they can do. And then just start doing all the community service you can do, talk to people, and then maybe become a part of a local program that is specifically for community service, like a club, like Key Club or something like that.
What do you enjoy most about the office?
I think about the office, I enjoyed just learning about politics, and then also talking to people on the phone. That was really great because, like I said, it helped me think quickly on my feet. It helped me just become a better speaker, conversing with people. And then we've also gotten some interesting phone calls from time to time, so those are all always kind of funny.
Well, I say something excellent.